Alright, here are the instructions for my Bluebonnet bow. This was my own design. I used all 3/8 size ribbon and 1 alligator clip. I used 2 pieces of 2-inch light green ribbon, 3 pieces of 2.5-inch silver ribbon, but you could use gray, 6 pieces of 2.5-inch light blue ribbon, 10 pieces of 2.5-inch dark blue ribbon. And then for the leaves, I used 1 3-inch piece and 1 3.5-inch piece. And then for the clip cover, I used 4 inches of dark green. Now the colors aren't too specific, as you just need some kind of variation. So I used a light green, a silver, a lighter blue, and then the darker blue. This lighter blue is a little bit different than another one I've used. This is the organza. I used organza for the light blue, and then today I'm going to use even different color. So here is how you glue the pieces. So each piece except the leaves are glued the same. So you're going to take your first piece and put a little glue in the middle, and you're going to fold the top half to the middle and the bottom half to the middle, like that, so it looks smushed. And you're going to do that for all of the light green, the silver, the light blue, and the dark blue pieces. Okay, and that's it for the flower part. We're gonna wait and make the leaf parts when we're done assembling this, but you could go ahead and make it all if you wanted to. So I'm just separating out the colors so it's easy to assemble. We're gonna start with the green pieces on the top. So you got 2 small pieces. So the first one you're gonna fold in half and make a V. You're going to put a little dab of glue in the middle just to kind of help hold that V shape. And you can kind of poof that top part down. Okay, and then once that holds, we're going to grab the other piece. And this green part is the most tricky. After this, the rest of it's really easy. So the second part, you're going to put some glue in the middle. Then you're going to take that V and you're going to turn it sideways. So the V will be closed in. So you get that V stuck on the bottom, and then I usually put a little bit of glue on the sides to help it hold closed. Just put a little glue and then make sure that top puffs up a little bit. Okay, and then put some glue on the other side and help hold that other. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because every flower is different, so that's the nice part of this, is it's not always uniform. So you hold that till it glues, and then it'll look like that on the side. And then there's the side of your V, so it's now closed in. You're going to go from green to silver or gray, whatever color you chose. You could use a white if you want. Just something lighter from green. And then you just glue the 2 pieces on like that. And then the third, you're going to glue diagonal as well, so it's going to make a little star. Like that. And then this will glue on the bottom of your V. Now I angle it to where that top piece could fold up over the side of your green, just to kind of hide that awkward spot. Once that's set, I usually try and glue that first white piece to fold up like that a little bit, just to help hold that green one on there. and a cover up because that's not very good looking on the side. So glue that top piece of your lighter color to the side of that green. Helps give it a more finished look as well. And now every other piece you're just gonna glue on just like that. So you can do it a couple of ways. You can do one by one and just stagger them on the bottom. I'll do both ways so you can see. Just stagger them so that way all the petals are on different angles. They're not all lined up together. So there's all your light color pieces. And just a note before we get too far in it, your bow will lay on its side. So these I haven't put on a clip and those stand up. This is how it's gonna look once it's on the clip, so it'll lay on its side. So if you start noticing that it's tilting a little bit, then that's usually the side that I angle my clip. So right now it's like laying backwards. It's kind of hard to see. It's laying this way going up, so that's the way that I'm going to start thinking about my clip going that way. But just so you're not too concerned, because once we get to the dark blues at the end, we're going to do a couple of them different, and that's why, because then it'll give it that look to lay down right. So then that was one by one. The blue one I'll do the other way, and that's basically just to make a whole bunch of stars and then glue them on. And that way seems to go a little bit faster, just depending on what your preference is. And then I try and also just kind of pinch those loops to make them puff up a little bit, because when you're pinching them and gluing them the first time, they seem to flatten out. So then fluff them up a little bit. You can do them with just two like that. You can add a third one on there, but just save the last two, because those two are going to be folded differently at the end. You can do those and then glue those on the bottom, and then just make sure you stagger it so they're not all lining up right under each other. And just make sure you kind of poof those out as you go so they're not too flat. You can see how mine's kind of leaning up to the top right when I set it with that green. So that's the way that I'm going to angle my clip. Just kind of think ahead right there. And then this one we're just going to angle. Okay, you can stand it up at this point and you can see where it angles. Now this is where you need to, oh, I have one more. This is about where you need to figure out where your front and where your back is going to be, because these last two are going to be very specific when you glue them. So Mine's kind of leaning this way, so I'm going to have this side be my front. So on these last two pieces, you're going to fold them like a half of a W, and it may be a little bit hard with that glue. You just kind of put your finger in there and pinch it. You should be able to fold it a little, and then you want to glue it and make a V like that. And this is just going to make the bottom look more full for the front of your flower, because it's going to lay backwards on that clip. Okay, so you have a little V there, and you're going to do that with the other one. So here's the second one, and when you figure out where your front is going to be, you're going to glue these facing your front to make your front look more full. So my front will be facing, looking at it, it'll be facing up. Okay, so there's the flower. And you can see it leaning towards the top left now. So now for the leaves, we're gonna do an awareness fold. I'll start with the big piece. You're gonna save that 4-inch one, that one's gonna be for the clip. And this one, you're gonna fold the end down to the middle and glue it. And then you're gonna do the same on the other side, going the opposite direction to make a figure 8. It'll be like that. And if you wanted to find the exact center, you could fold it in half and crease it, and then you would know exactly where. I usually just eyeball it, but there's a crease right there so you could see where the center is. And just put a little glue on top and bottom. So let's bring that end over. And then bring the other one around. You make a figure 8, and then you're going to do that with the 3-inch. That was the 3.5 piece. And now here's the 3-inch. Fold it in half, you can find your center, put some glue on there, and then fold that figure 8. This one's a little smaller, so it's a little more tricky. Like that. So you have your 2 figure 8s. I nest the smaller one in on the bigger one. And then you're going to glue that on the bottom. Now, the back one will be on the clip, so I try and angle it to where 3 are facing the front and then 1 on the back, so that way you're not smushing that last leaf on there. And there you go. There's your flower. And to line the clip, you just take your 4-inch piece, open the clip, stick it in there. The flat part is on the bottom, the curved part goes up. Put glue along that line. Fold this up. And then turn it over and put a little glue on that back. Now you have a lined clip. And I have the clip part open at the bottom, so it's like the stem of the flower. And then you put a lot of glue on that top part of the clip. And then you make sure that flower's angled where you want it to. And then you push it on that clip. A lot of glue flyaways. And there have it. If you think you need to glue them a little bit over, you can move them around. They're pretty flexible. It has that glue down the center where you glued each piece, so it shouldn't come apart. And there you have it, a Bluebonnet bow.